I'm crazy about a Mercury. I'm crazy about a Mercury. I'm gonna buy me a Mercury and cruise on the road.
Now get 0% APR financing or $2,500 cash back on every 2003 Grand Marquis. See your Texas Mercury dealer today.
Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Joseph here once again. And today I'm once again at Wanda Blackwell's Credit Cars in Bentonville, Arkansas. And today I found another popular vehicle. This is the next generation of the Mercury Grand Marquis. This is a 2003 Mercury Grand Marquis LS. These things just keep falling right into my lap. I saw one of these just about 3 months ago here at this dealership, which was a 97, which was the previous generation of the Mercury Grand Marquis. So this will be a full tour of the 2003 generation through 2010. There was another one that was developed for 2011, like the Panther platform, right before it met its demise, but they didn't really change a whole lot between that time frame. It's still riding on the same chassis, but we'll go over all the details in just a moment. So let's go and go over those details, and then we'll get started on this vehicle. The Mercury Grand Marquis was an automobile that was sold by the Mercury division of the Ford Motor Company from 1975 to 2011. From 1975 to 1982, it was the premium model of the Mercury Marquis line of full-size luxury sedans. It later became a standalone model in 1983. For 2003 and 2004, it was sold alongside the revival of the Mercury Marauder. The fourth generation was manufactured from 2002 until January 4th, 2011. The model years are from 2003 to 2011. They were assembled in St. Thomas, Canada, Ontario, Canada, and at the St. Thomas Assembly Plant. So it was St. Thomas, Ontario, Canada. The body style is a four-door sedan. It is related to the Mercury Marauder, Ford Crown Victoria, the Ford Police Interceptor, and the Lincoln Town Car. The engine is a 4.6-liter modular V8, and it has either a 4-speed 4R70-W 4-speed automatic transmission that was manufactured from 2003 to 2005, and then from 2006 to 2011, it was the 4R75-E automatic transmission, 4-speed overdrive. The wheelbase from 2003 to 2008 was 114.7 inches, or 2,913 millimeters. In 2009 to 2011, it was 114.6 inches and 120.7 inches width. So let's go on and go down here. For 2003, the Grand Marquis saw an extensive styling update, and the Ford Panther chassis was redesigned for the first time since its introduction for 1979. During the 2000s, Mercury would introduce two additional full-size sedans, the 2003 and 2004 Mercury Marauder, and the 2005 through 2007 Mercury Montego. A rebranded model was then later released in 2008 and 2009 called the Mercury Sable. In addition, the Mercury Grand Marquis largely replaced the Crown Victoria in the retail marketplace, since the Crown Victoria was removed from retail sale for the 2008 model year. This was reflected in the fourth generation Marquis styling shifting over to the more generic look of the third gen Crown Victoria, combining elements of both vehicles into one model that would serve both customer bases. In 2010, the Grand Marquis marked 35 years of production, overtaking the Cougar as the longest produced nameplate sold by the Mercury brand. In September of 2010, after a short production run, the final versions for retail sale were produced. Slated to end production in December of 2010, the production of the fleet models was extended due to a parts shortage at the St. Thomas, Ontario factory. On the 4th of January 2011, the last Grand Marquis was produced in St. Thomas. It was the very last Mercury produced by Ford. The chassis. While styling changes to the 2003 Grand Marquis were evolutionary, the changes to the P71 Panther platform were far more extensive. To improve chassis rigidity, An all-new frame was introduced with full-boxed and hydroformed frame rails. In addition to effort in improved handling, the front and rear suspension were redesigned along with the brakes. A quiet EBD brake booster with a mechanic panic assist system was added. The new suspension changes required changing the wheel designs to those with a high positive offset. Rack and pinion steering replaced the old recirculating ball system in an effort to increase steering precision and reduce costs. In the standard versions of the Grand Marquis, the rear axle ratio was 273:1. In the LSC and versions with the handling suspension, a 327.1 rear axle ratio was also used. The handling package was standard equipment on the LS trim export models. For 2008, the handling performance package, as well as the 5-seater passenger front bucket seat option, were both discontinued. Both were similar to the Crown Victoria LX Premium Sport and handling package. These were only post-1992 Grand Marquis variants produced for North America to be equipped with the dual exhaust system. For the 2003 model year, the Grand Marquis retained the version of the modular 4.6-liter V8 introduced in 2001. Single exhaust versions created 220 horsepower, while the dual exhaust versions output 235 horsepower. During the redesign, a number of changes were made to the engine. The oil pan was enlarged 20% to 6 quarts, and an engine knock sensor was made standard. Other changes include an intake manifold with an aluminum water crossover and an electronic returnless fuel system. The new engine was distinguished by a redesigned engine cover featuring a chrome V8 badge. The oil filler cap was moved to the passenger side valve cover, and the power steering fluid reservoir was moved off of the engine block and onto the radiator shroud. For 2006, revisions to the engine tuned in and added 4 horsepower to both versions of the modular V8 for a total of 224 and 239 horsepower respectively. In 2007, the engine was given the flex fuel capacity capability, or E85, after the 2007 model year, and the 239 horsepower version of the Grand Marquis was sold exclusively for the GCC export. All of the versions of the Grand Marquis were sold with variants of the AOD 4-speed overdrive automatic transmission. From 2003 to 2005, the 4R70W was used. In 2006, it was dropped and replaced by the 4R75-E that was shared with the Ford F-150 truck lineup. Exterior. As part of the redesign, Ford Lincoln Mercury stylists were tasked with giving the Grand Marquis a more contemporary look, bringing it in line with other Mercury division vehicles, while largely evolutionary. A number of changes modernized the exterior, and a change similar to the 2003 town car redesign. The heavily rounded bumpers seen on the Grand Marquis since '92 gave way to a squared-off lower look. The trunk and taillight trim was simplified with more contemporary badging. In the front, to improve cooling, a larger grille was introduced to the Grand Marquis and the waterfall grille trim. Grand Marquis LS Limited editions were equipped with a hood ornament seen for the first time since 1991. The option also marketed the return of the factory-produced two-tone paint. To ease production, the Grand Marquis adopted body color trim for the B-pillars, similar to the Crown Victoria. In 2005, for a single year, the radio antenna became externally mounted to the rear fender. After years of declining sales, chrome wire wheel covers were optional from the factory for the last time. For 2006, the Grand Marquis was given a mid-cycle exterior update in what would be the last styling update for the Panther platform vehicles. The trapezoid grille, seen since 1995, was replaced by a rectangular one with a waterfall pattern similar to the Mercury Montego. The headlight cluster no longer extended to the sides of the grille in a fashion similar to the 1988 through 91 Marquis. A redesign of the lower bumper allowed the addition of the fog lights as an option for the first time. In the rear, the trunk trim was changed from red to gray. Interior. While not as extensive as changes to the exterior or chassis, Mercury made a number of changes to update the interior for the Grand Marquis in 2003. Updated door panels and redesigned switchgear improved interior ergonomics, while the dashboard from 1995 remained in place. A dual-media cassette CD player made standard along with a valet key. In the interest of safety and to keep up with the other Ford Motor Company vehicles, a shoulder belt was added for the rear middle passenger and side airbags were introduced as an option. In 2005, due to several mechanical modifications, several changes were made. The steering column is replaced with a non-locking design. A flat-top steering wheel replaces the round-top version used since '98. A fully electronic throttle moves the cruise control function into the main engine computer. For the front seats, occupant weight sensors were added, which allowed the front airbags to be disabled, also known as smart assist airbags. An autofile 6-disc in-dash CD changer became available as an option on the LS trim models. In 2006, another major change was made as the instrumentation panel on all Panther platform cars was redesigned. The optional digital cluster was discontinued, as was the use of an analog odometer. While the oil pressure and voltage gauges were removed, a notable addition was a tachometer. The Grand Marquis was one of the very last Ford vehicles sold without one. Similar to other Ford vehicles, the new instrument panel features a driver information trip computer consolidating many functions previously seen in the overhead console in between the speedometer and the tachometer. In 2007, an auto-dimming rear-view mirror was added as an option along with a full-size spare making its return. In 2009, due to federal regulations, side impact airbags became standard equipment along with recessed window switches. Trim. As part of the redesign, Mercury would change the Grand Marquis trim lineup for 2003 in place of the traditional 2-model line. The Grand Marquis was expanded to a 5-trim lineup. In addition to the base trim GS, there was now the GS Convenience, LS Premium, LS Ultimate, and the LSC. Introduced at the Chicago Auto Show in February of 2001 and showrooms by May, the LSC was redesigned as the LS Premium with a heavy-duty rear suspension, shorter rear axle ratio, and a 239 horsepower dual exhaust engine. It offered 5-passenger seating with leather dual power bucket seats with a center console and a floor shifter. The 2003 LSC was short-lived as its production ended in December of 2002. It, however, did make a return for 2005. From 2003 to 2005, a limited edition version of the LS model was sold. This included an appearance package with chromed mirrors, body-colored doors, handles, and two-tone leather interiors. Limited edition models also came with side impact airbags standard. They included a Mercury badge hood ornament, making its return for the first time since 1991. For 2007, the LS models, a Palm Beach trim option was available. It consisted primarily of special upholstery and badging. For 2009, following the introduction of a no-stock marketing guideline by Lincoln Mercury, the Grand Marquis trim line underwent a revision. Aside from long-wheelbase GCC export models, the GS was dropped, while the LS was split into two area series, the LS Fleet and the LS Retail. The former was available exclusively for fleet purchases in the United States, while the latter was available only by dealers' special order to minimize unsold inventory of cars. Moreover, incentives as high as $4,000 per vehicle were added to remove previous stock from dealership lots. As Ford had announced the discontinuation of the Mercury brand in the summer of 2010, all 2011 examples are Mercury Grand Marquis LS Ultimate Editions. On June 2, 2010, Ford announced that it would end production of all Mercury vehicles by the end of 2010. As it discontinued the brand after 72 years, as a result of an unplanned delay in parts shipments, the final Grand Marquis was produced on the 4th of January 2011 at 7:46 a.m. The St. Thomas Assembly Plant in Ontario, Canada, closed in September of 2011, bringing an end to the production of the Ford Crown Victoria, Mercury Grand Marquis, Marauder, and Lincoln Town Car. In continuous production for 36 years, the Grand Marquis was the longest produced Mercury. In total, over 2.7 million units were produced, making it the best-selling vehicle sold by the brand. Among Ford Motor Company's models in North America, only the Ford Econoline, Ford Mustang, Ford Thunderbird, and Ford F-Series, as well as the Lincoln Continental nameplates, have been produced longer. The P-71 Panther platform served as the basis for the Grand Marquis design for 32 years, nearly unmatched by other automakers for longevity. The external appearance of the Grand Marquis remained largely unchanged for the last 19 years of its production life. Along with its engine, the 2011 model shared a number of body panels with its 1992 counterpart.
Okay, now that we've discussed the Panther platform and the Mercury Grand Marquis, let's take a look at this one. So this car is painted in a graphite gold metallic exterior, paired with a biscuit tan leather interior and hickory wood accenting throughout. You've got power adjustment seats, power windows, power locks. We'll go all over that in its sector part of the video, demonstrate all of that fun stuff. Very plush leather interior. Someone did install a steering wheel cover, but it gives it that more of biscuit tan color of the interior, so that's pretty cool. So let's go on and start this puppy up, shall we? One thing that's neat is it actually has its own custom Mercury embroidered key, and it's got this traditional Ford remote. So let's start this puppy up. It has 129,454 miles on the odometer. Starts right up, like every Panther platform ever does. Fluid power steering, trumpet horn. This particular unit has Ford's 4-speed automatic transmission with low gear selection. So let's turn on the lights as well as the hazards. We'll check out the exterior. The driver's side door is automatic down. This is the second to the last generation for the Mercury Grand Marquis. It is sitting on the P-71 Panther platform. It was shared with the Ford Crown Victoria and the Lincoln Town Car. The Mercury Grand Marquis was the middle grade chassis for the P-71 Panther platform. These vehicles were also used with the Crown Victoria for the police interceptor. Bi-xenon headlights, chrome waterfall grille. Now, if you were to have bought the Ultimate Edition, you would have had an option for fog lights down on this little corner panel right here, but this one isn't equipped with that feature. However, it is equipped with one feature that a lot of newer cars are also trending on. If you turn the turn signal on, a curb light will appear. So you have your three-way phase flash, the front, the rear, and the side turn signal. Chrome rims, Mercury logo in the center, chrome rub strips, throughout the vehicle. Kind of a chrome accented rear bumper guard for the trunk, and you still got your chrome rub strips on the rear end as well. As you can see, it's the Marquis LS. So let's take a look at the engine, shall we? As with all Panther platforms, this particular unit, well, if I can get the hood up, there we go. This particular unit is powered by Ford's 4.6 liter dual overhead cam V8. Bulletproof power plants. Wonderful, wonderful engines. And it's 90 degrees, and this thing isn't having any trouble cooling itself. All right, well, now that we've taken a look at the exterior part of the vehicle, let's go on and take a look at the interior portion and go over all the unique amenities that the interior offers on the LS. So before we even enter the vehicle, one thing that all Fords have been carrying since the 1970s is this unique door lock code system. So if I were to turn the vehicle off, I am going to grab the key so I can show you. Let's say that you were to lock your keys in the car after you've locked it. You would enter the code, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and it would unlock the vehicle. Also, if you put your keys in your pocket and you didn't want to have to grab the remote out of your pocket or your purse or whatever, you can press 7890 and it'll lock the vehicle for you. It's a really handy feature, and it helps save a lot of headaches when you accidentally lock the keys in the vehicle. Okay, so starting on the door pillar on the driver's side, you've got your seat adjustment tool for up and down, forwards and backwards, up and down, and tilt. It's also optioned out on the other side. Down on the seat itself, you also have a bladder lumbar support in the seat. There's an airbag that's in this portion of the seat that balloons up to give you better back support if you prefer a firmer ride. Let's go and start it back up here. Grab the keys. All set there. And we'll check out the rest of the interior. It's got an automatic climate control system. When you close the window, the vehicle becomes silent in the inside, as with all professional luxury cars. I'm gonna adjust my seat back a little bit, give me a little more support so I can properly tour in here. On the mirror, you have an auto rear view dimming mirror. You have your compass, and also your reading lamps. Storage cubby for your sunglasses. Entry and exiting light. And then you also have 2 reading lights on the rear seat area. Powered mirror, viewing vanity mirror. And then this is really cool, and I love that a lot of luxury cars in this generation were following suit on this. If you were to be driving down the road and you needed to block the sunlight coming off from the side of the vehicle, but you still wanted to have sun protection going down the road, going forward, you could fold this second feature down. I have that in my Buick LeSabre, and I love that feature in these cars. Same exact feature on the other hand for the passenger seat. You also have your garage home link, which is programmable. You just have to check the manual to figure out how to program it. It's pretty simple to use. Aftermarket Kenwood radio. I'll see if I can get it to tune to a station that I prefer real fast. Let's try 107. Great audio system by Bose.
A feature intended to inspire you to read a chapter of your Bible every day. Here's Sandy Adams, pastor of Calvary Chapel, Stone Mountain, with the synopsis of today's.
You got split center armrests. And like stated previously, it's an automatic climate control system, so you can press automatic and it'll take care of everything for you. It'll check temperature, it'll adjust where the air needs to go, all that fun stuff. But if you want to override it, all you have to do is press max AC. You can adjust the temperature, adjust the fan speed. This is your thermostat sensor right here, if you're wondering. You got defrost, floor defrost, vent, normal AC, and then if you bump up the temperature with it on vent, it'll become a heat. Center cup holders, ashtray lighter. On the steering wheel, you have your cruise control settings, on, off, resume, accelerate, and coast, and your driver's side airbag, as standard. Your dimming switch for your gauge cluster, and if you push it all the way over, it turns on the interior lights. You also have your pedal adjust on the center stack, and your cruise control on-off switch. On the shifter column, you have your overdrive on-off switch. So if you're just going down the road and you only want to use the primary 3 driving gears without using overdrive, you would press that button and it would change the configuration of how the transmission is shifted. All right, well, let's take a look at the rest of the vehicle, shall we? Starting with the rear driver's side seat. Pretty standard as rear seat goes for Ford luxury cars. This one doesn't come with an ashtray holder. Some of them did. Oh, goodness. So you've got your rear folder holders on the back seats. Rear folder holders, as well as your center armrest and cup holder. Some of them did come with storage, this one did not. I love the biscuit tan interior of this particular vehicle. Rear reading lights that only activate when you tilt it to the side of the person that's sitting in this seat, which is pretty handy. Keeps the other person, in case they're wanting to sleep, from getting blinded by the light. That one seems to be blown. It is a 3-seater on both portions, so I can put on the center seat belt here, and I'll turn around. I still have plenty of leg room to spare. So if you look here, I do have to go over the drive shaft hump, but I still have plenty of leg room, and I can even take my feet, place them like that, and I'm perfectly comfortable. And you can still sit 3 people semi-comfortably. The side gasket came down. It's a common problem with this generation of vehicles, but it's easy to be fixed. You just got to re-glue the stripping. We'll check out the other side, as per usual, and then we'll check out the trunk. Same biscuit tan and hickory wood accenting, just like the other side. Folder holders, powered window, goes all the way down, unlike some of the older generation vehicles where they only go down partially for safety reasons. It's considered a child safety system back in the day. And then on the passenger side, you have the same amenities as you would on the driver's side. You've got the forward, back, up, down, forward, back, all that fun stuff, and you even have the bladder support on the seat bottom. Cubby holes for your small amenities, like pencils, small paperwork. Got a little penny tray on the door handle. Decent sized glove box. Very comfortable car. I could see people doing very long road trips with no problem in this particular style of vehicle. And being it is a 3-seater on the front, it is a little bit cramped for the middle passenger, I will admit. But if you fold both the rear armrests up and you allow the person to sprawl out a little bit on the passenger side pocket hold, and maybe give the person a little legroom while the driver is driving, he shouldn't be having too big of a deal. Also has the Grand Marquis inscription, like all the other Grand Marquis back in the day. I reviewed a 97, had the same beautiful Marquis logo on the center console. Okay, well, I'm gonna turn it off. We'll take a look at the trunk, and we'll wrap this tour up. There's 2 ways to open the trunk. The one I just did was the remote to pop the electronic release. However, there's a common issue with these vehicles. There are some times where the electric switch that releases the trunk goes bad. So if that were to ever happen to you and you were to buy one of these cars, don't worry, it happens. It's a common problem. It can be replaced. It's just a little switch. But if you still need to get into the trunk, Ford thought of that and gave you this handy little lock release for your trunk latch. Plenty of cargo space. You can get at least 6 people's luggage in the trunk here. And also on some of them it came with a spare space-saving tire, like a donut, but I don't seem to see one in here. It may have been moved to the underside of the vehicle. Only research can tell. But yeah, plenty of trunk space, and you can pretty much haul whatever you want. The only caveat I have on that particular part of the vehicle is it doesn't have the golf bag fall through like a lot of the more modern luxury cars that I've seen, such as the 05 DeVille have, but that's just a minor inconvenience. Alrighty guys, well I hope you enjoyed the tour of the second Mercury Grand Marquis that I have found. Here's hoping that I'll find an 80s model here in the next few months. But if you enjoyed the video, be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.